Hi, in this lesson I will show you how to deploy the RPD in the Oracle Linux environment. Up to this point we've seen how to install the software, how to run it, and also how to import different schemas into the Oracle database which is housed in the Linux environment. The next steps are probably the most important because you have your RPD in the Windows environment and your OBIEE is running in the Linux environment. Now, how do you get the RPD, which is built and housed on the Windows platform, to be deployed in the Linux environment? This lesson will demonstrate to you step by step on how to do that. So the next step is to understand, first of all, that all your services have to be running in the Linux environment. That's the database, the WebLogic administrative server, and the WebLogic managed servers. And then you also have to run your business intelligence and SBase files. The next thing that you have to do is, while on the Windows environment, you have to open your RPD file and save a copy of the RPD file from the default location into your C drive, OBIEE V305 or V507, depending on which version you downloaded. To get started, open your administration tool, then open your paint.rpd, then we expand this. From the previous lesson you will notice that we still have the data source name remaining the same, and also that the business model mapping layer and presentation layer were not completed. But for your purpose, you have to make sure that before you deploy your RPD, the BMM and presentation layers are built and fully completed, and you would have also checked your consistency. So what you want to do now is to make a copy of your RPD. This is my paint.rpd, and then you can go to File, Save as RPD. The majority of the time it will not automatically be at this location. You just have to save it and save it in this location. The reason why you save it in this location is because the script that will execute in the Linux environment will look at the C drive and then into this folder. I already had it saved here, so I'm not going to go ahead and save it again. I'll just click cancel on here, and then I'll just minimize it. Then we'll open the VirtualBox, and once you open the VirtualBox, you will have to open the Linux terminal. Once the Linux terminal opens, log in as an administrative user, which is in this case SU, and you type in the password, and then execute the scripts, which is the scripts that I've laid out here. For your benefit, I will expand the whole window so that you can see the entire path. This is the path where the RPD will be placed. So we're copying this paint.rpd file from this folder into this path, and then we'll change the mode and execute this command, and then bring in this RPD file into this same location. So the first thing that we do is, this is step 1, we log in as an administrative user, and the second step is to copy the path, and the third step is to bring in the file. So I'll go ahead and copy this path, then Ctrl+Shift+V will copy and paste it into this location. I'd already performed this operation previously, and you will not get a warning sign if you're doing it for the first time. But if you find this warning sign coming up, you just type Y, which is yes, you want to override the existing file, and that is done. Then we go back, copy the next command, and we'll do the same thing, Ctrl+Shift+V to paste, and then enter. That takes care of bringing in the file in the Linux environment. Now let's start our Enterprise Manager, and we'll log in WebLogic as we've done in Windows environment, and then log into this. It'll take a few moments. Once we are logged in, we want to follow the same steps that we did in the Windows environment and expand business intelligence. then core application to deploy the RPD. While this is processing, let us navigate to the location where we copied over the RPD file from the Windows environment, just to verify and make sure that it's there. You go to Oracle Home, then you will scroll down, find OBIEE, open OBIEE, then under OBIEE you go to Instances. Under Instances, Instance 1, then you go to BI Foundation. Under BI Foundation, you want to look for Oracle BI Server component, which is the last item here. Double click on that, and then double click on the only option available. Then you look for one that says repository, and there is a Paint repository. It's been brought into the Linux environment. So we'll go ahead and close out these little windows, and then bring up our Enterprise Manager, and then we want to browse here to the location where the RPD file is saved. So we'll go to Oracle, and then we'll expand the OBIEE file, Instances, Instance 1, BI Foundation, BI Server component, and then we'll go to the repository, and then that's how we open it, and that's how you bring it here. As you will notice, the repository file has changed. So you perform the next steps where you enter the password here, and you click on apply, and then activate changes and perform the rest of the steps. So this is how basically bring in the RPD file from the Windows environment into the Linux environment for deployment. Then once you do this step, everything else remains the same compared to how you deployed your RPDs in the Windows environment. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to any questions that you may have in this course going forward.